And welcome to part 1 of the man who has all the answers. That's right. It's the answers to the Razman's Q&A right here on the Razman's Reality. Heck yeah, people. We gotta take just a minute to plug the crap out of what just happened. The full show debuts right here on the Razman's Reality. So I gotta thank a few people who helped make it happen, because I'm a visionary. I had ideas of what I wanted, but when it comes to technical issues, there's some things that I'm not all that good at. So I have to thank, first of all, Aaron Isaac for giving me the inspiration to create a show format with my YouTube videos. I have to thank Adam Yomis, Polite Mediocrity. I have to thank Taylor, YouTube user Boom Pow Fan. I believe that's how you say her name. If not, I will put the link here on the side. And I have to thank my cousin Chris. All of you helped make the full show happen, so thank you to each and every one of you. Now, answers. Answers abound. First question comes from a couple of months ago, and it comes from the guys that make up the Blue Duck Mo. The Blue Duck Mo wanted to know what is the origin of my nickname, or my moniker, if you will, the Razman. I answered this a couple months ago, but had rendering issues, and thus I'm answering it again. Story goes like this. I started out in radio, and when I was in radio, I needed a handle, something that stood out, if you will. So, when my dad was in school with his two brothers, John and Tom, they were known as the Raz Brothers. So I took the brothers off the name and just went with the and man, and subsequently became the Razman, and it's stuck with me ever since. Question number 2 comes from Dirty Rotten Insult. And Dirty Rotten Insult wanted to know, have I ever taken any psychedelic drugs? And he said if I haven't, that I should, because it will change my perspective on life for the better. Well, I'll have to take my word, I'll have to take your word on that, my friend, because I have not. I have my own personal reasons for not doing it, but I have not. Next up, we have Jeremy, YouTube user M-Size. I'm just going to call you M-Size Man because I can never remember your numbers and I don't have them in front of me right now. But your question was, what are my top 5 favorite movies of all time? Well, the answer to that question is as follows. Number 5 is Mean Girls. Number 4 is A Walk to Remember. Number 3 is Holes. Number 2 is the entire Spider-Man trilogy. I consider all 3 films one long epic saga. And number 1 is a tie between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. I do, however, have to give an honorable mention to the Harry Potter films because they are my favorite film saga of all time. Now, why didn't I put any of these other Batman movies in my list? Well, we'll get into that during the Batman series. Next up, we have a YouTube user whose name is escaping me right now. I do sincerely apologize, but you know who you are. You wanted to know what my top 5 favorite horror films of all time were as an addendum to Jeremy's question. Well, the answer to your question is simply none, because due to my physical condition, I am not able to watch horror films and fully appreciate them at all. Next up, we have the TNA Defender. And the TNA Defender wants to know, who are my favorite wrestlers? That would be, in no particular order, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, Sting, Bret Hart, AJ Styles, and John Cena. That is the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2.